So first things first, we need a canvas to create our winter fairy garden in. And I have chosen these two containers over here, and I'm going to make them mirrors of each other so that we can have these containers over here to enjoy throughout the winter season. First things we need to do is add some soil into these containers. I have removed some of the soil that was in these containers already, and we are going to be adding some soil in here to start our winter fairy garden. So we live in a cold environment. Our zone used to be 5B, but after the zone changes, we are now zone 6A. I'm not so sure I believe it, but we need some good soil in here that is well draining, because when all the snow comes in and all the precipitation, all this moisture is going to sit in these pots, and we want to make sure that when these pots thaw, that the water is going to be able to drain out of them properly. And I just need a small layer. So when it comes to choosing your pots for this winter fairy garden, consider that these pots are going to be outside throughout the winter. So you want pots that have some depth to them, especially if you live in a very cold environment and your temperatures get below freezing, because all this soil is going to freeze completely. So when that soil is super frozen inside that pot, there's this possibility that these plants might die that you have in there. And if you have a deeper container, then these plants might have a chance to survive. I have wintered hostas in here, and I was able to take the hostas the next season out of these containers and transplant them into their new homes. So it has been proven that if I plant some super winter hardy plants in these containers, that they will still be able to survive for the next season. So I don't necessarily want these plants to survive the winter, but I do want them to look beautiful throughout the winter so that we can enjoy them while there's still snow outside. So now let's talk about the stars of the show, the plants. So let me show you what I have over here. On this side over here, I have a couple strawberries, and I was thinking maybe I will put a strawberry in each container. I have some Irish moss over here that I dug out from next to the shed, and this right here is Travescantia, and this is an evergreen. It is gorgeous, and it has these dainty blooms over here. Also, I have some euonymus and euonymus roots pretty easily, so I just took these out of my euonymus plant in my cottage flower bed. And also on this side, I got some regular moss, and I dug this out of the gravel area. We got a lot of moss growing in there. Clearly there's plenty of shade in there. And I got several branches of this white pine, and I was thinking maybe we could use these to create an evergreen tree. The Travescantia will stay green throughout the winter. This is an evergreen plant, and same with the Irish moss and the euonymus. Those are all evergreen, and the strawberry will color up a little bit and it will stay alive for most of the winter. And we have had several freezing temperatures, and this plant is still doing great. Moss is always going to look that way, and with these evergreens, as long as they are being watered, they are going to still look green and lush. Also, all of these plants are hardy to our zone. And just a little bit about our zone: we used to be zone 5B, and now our zone has went down to zone 6. And I don't necessarily believe it, because last winter season our temperatures went down to -20 Fahrenheit, and that is clearly zone A. So we're going to see this year what is going to happen, if we are going to dip down below these temperatures or not, if we are going to stay in zone 5, or are we going to have zone 6 temperatures? We're going to see. Let me know your thoughts about your zones and what your plans are for your zones in this coming up season in the comment section below. So I'm going to work backwards because I have some pieces with me here, and this is clearly a gigantic piece, so I'm not going to be able to use it. I need a smaller house. I got this house from the thrift store, and I thought it would make a really cute fairy house, but clearly it is too big for this container, so I'm going to pick a different house. So I have these two houses over here, and I'm going to choose both of them. One is going to go on this side and one on the other side. I wish I had two of this, because I think that would have looked really cute, but this one is super cute as well. So we're going to use both of them, one for each of the containers, and I'm going to position the house in this corner over here, because I want the back of this container to be facing the corner of the railway because I want to be able to see this fairy garden from both sides of the container, from the stairway over here and also from our kitchen door, because I look out through that door all the time and it would be nice to see this beautiful fairy garden in here. I'm going to start with the biggest pieces first. So I'm going to be cutting these pine branches and trying to fashion a tree out of them, and hopefully that will work out because I want to create sort of this evergreen tree in here, and I'm just going to stick them in the ground. You see they have pretty good stems on them, and I think that's going to work out perfectly. We're going to start with these. I want it to be on this side over here. Maybe I'll place the house afterwards. I may have to tie these trees together or these branches together. The bottom of this is frozen. I did get a lot more plants than I need, but that's not going to hurt because I don't know what I need and what I don't need. So we're going to see what I'm going to be using. And I believe the Pachysandra roots pretty easily, so I can cut them a little bit to create what I need. I'm gonna move the house a little bit so that I can plant this. I want to make sure to bury the root with some soil, and I can always add more soil if I need to. And I kind of want this fairy garden to be sort of woodlandsy. I may change this. I think this is not working out. I have some evergreens that I will go and get. I think I am going to take this out. I'm just building this as I go. This looks too tropical. I'm not going to use the strawberry. I'm going to try again with this because I do want it to work. I think I am going to go get a different type of evergreen because this is not working out as I want it to. I got this evergreen from our other evergreen tree. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I think it's a spruce. I want to try to place it over here in the back because we want to create some height in the back, and I want to add an evergreen interest. I wish I was able to find some beautiful evergreens at Home Depot, but I wasn't able to. So we're just going to work with what we have. And I'm just going to take these bottom pieces off, and then we'll play with it and see what we can get. Whoop. So now we can start adding our magical touches to our fairy garden. I have this beautiful little door over here, or gateway, and I can place it maybe over here. I don't think this one though works with the theme that I'm going with, so I'm going to skip that gateway. We're just going to keep the moss over here. This is kind of a woodlandsy sort of garden on this section over here. I also got these branches from my honeysuckle, and we are going to weave them into a gate. See which branches we can work out, like an arbor. Let's try this out. Oh, I like that right there. I have a little piece of metal wire. I'm going to tie them with it. And we're going to cut this right there. Oh, I wish I cut it a little bit higher. So I ended up leaving these branches long on this gate over here because I thought it looks so whimsical and it adds a charm to this fairy garden. And you can see in the back over there, you see that little fairy house, and there's a little fairy statuary over here, whatever it is. It looks like a tree, I don't know. There's a little windmill over there. I couldn't find a house that fits perfectly in here, and the only thing that would fit is this little windmill house. I thought it was perfect anyways. I added the euonymus on this section over here and the pachysandra, and I had it kind of spilling out from the fence over here, and same on this side. And we have this moss pathway over here, and I could have, I suppose, added some gravel to make it more snowy, but I thought this just looks so charming because if you look at it from this angle over here, it looks like a woodland house, and that's what I want it to look like. And on this section over here, I wish I left these a little bit longer, but the shape of these branches did not work out to leave them longer, and they weren't super whimsical, they were just messy. And I came around and I added these pachysandra on this side over here, and I love these little blooms that they have. I think they add a little bit of charm to them and just makes them extra special. And we have here the beehive that's falling over, and I thought that looks super cute over there. And we have a little welcome sign on this side over here, and again the moss pathway that kind of meanders over to the gate. And I think this makes a perfect woodland fairy garden. Out of these two fairy gardens, which one is your favorite? My favorite is this one over here. Let me know in the comment section below which one of these fairy gardens is your favorite.